The starship Aurora glided silently above the surface of Yalara 7, a planet in the outer rim of human-colonized space. Its green oceans shimmered under the twin suns, and jagged mountains stretched far into the pink clouds above. Captain Aaron Halstead stood on the bridge, his eyes scanning the planet below through the transparent view screen. Humanity had made contact with a new intelligent species here, and this was their first landing. "Captain," said Lieutenant Rena Soto, her voice calm but tinged with excitement, "our scans indicate a humanoid presence near the northern valley. Life signs are stable. They are intelligent by our standards." But seeing it with his own eyes was different. The alien species Lyrans, as they called themselves, moved with a fluid grace. They had long, slender limbs and delicate features, almost human in their structure, but their skin shimmered with a subtle iridescence that reflected the sunlight in rainbow patterns. "Prepare the landing pod," Aaron ordered. "I want a small team, no more than 5 people. We need first contact to be calm and respectful. Let's not scare them." The air was breathable, though slightly metallic, and a faint floral scent lingered. They didn't have to wait long. From between the towering crystalline rocks, a figure emerged. She walked with a confident elegance, her eyes the deep blue of Earth's oceans. She studied the humans with curiosity, tilting her head slightly. Her voice, when she spoke, was soft but firm. "Humans," she said, "I am Lyria. I welcome you to our home. We've traveled far to learn about your world, and perhaps to share a little about ours. Sometimes we show it in small ways." He hesitated for a moment, then took a gentle, human risk. "Like calling someone sweetheart." "Say it again," she said, her voice soft, curious, and oddly joyful. Aaron blinked, startled, but then laughed softly. It was rare that words alone could have this effect. "Sweetheart," he said again, this time with a careful warmth, hoping not to frighten her. Lyria's smile widened. She took a step closer, studying him as if trying to decode the meaning behind the word. "Humans," she said thoughtfully, "you have fascinating ways of expressing care." Aaron noticed that while her words were precise, her emotions were raw and genuine. She laughed at small jokes, asked questions with wide-eyed curiosity, and occasionally repeated human expressions she found delightful. Every time Aaron said something simple, a friendly gesture, a compliment, she responded in ways that reminded him why humans were unique. Not just technology, not just survival skills, but the ability to connect. At one point, Lyria paused by a crystal-clear stream. She knelt studying the water, then touched it lightly with her hand. The liquid rippled and shimmered, reacting to her energy in a way the humans had never seen. "Your presence affects even the natural world," Marcus said quietly, awe in his voice. "Yes," Lyria replied, still kneeling. "I can feel it. Your emotions, your sincerity, they resonate here. It is powerful." "I would like to learn that," she said. "To understand the human way fully, can you teach me?" Many were hesitant, cautious, but Lyria's trust in the humans encouraged them to come forward. Aaron noticed something extraordinary. Lyria's people responded to humans differently than expected. They observed, asked questions, and slowly mirrored human behaviors. Laughter, simple gestures of kindness, playful teasing. It was all new to them, and yet they embraced it with a curiosity that reminded Aaron of children discovering their first truths. During one late evening, while the twin suns dipped below the mountains, Lyria and Aaron sat together atop a ridge, looking at the sky. The stars of Yalara 7 were bright and unfamiliar, a web of light that seemed almost within reach. "You are different," Lyria said softly, echoing a thought she had repeated often these days. "Not in strength or intelligence, but in your approach to life. Your species values things I never understood before: hope, laughter, trust. It's what makes humans humans. We survive, yes, but we also live fully. We connect, we care, we celebrate small victories. That's our power." "Then I will remember it, and perhaps I will use it." She laughed softly, a musical sound that made Aaron smile without realizing it. The days turned into weeks. The humans learned about Lyria's culture, her people, and the delicate balance of life on Yalara 7. In return, Lyria and her scientists learned about humanity's ingenuity, humor, and resilience. Aaron often caught himself thinking about her, her curiosity, her willingness to try, and that first moment when a simple word broke the walls of formality and fear. One afternoon, while exploring a crystalline cave, the team encountered a minor threat. Strange, predatory creatures native to the planet moved silently in the shadows. Marcus and the security officers readied their weapons, but Aaron held up a hand. "Wait," he whispered. Let's observe first. Let's not assume aggression where there might be none. You may observe us as we observe you. Humans and Lyrans shared stories, laughter, and even songs. Aaron found himself next to Lyria again, her eyes reflecting the flickering flames. "Captain," she said softly, "may I try saying something in your human way?" "You did it," he said, "perfectly." It was proof that even across stars and species, small acts of kindness and connection could bridge worlds. As the twin moons rose, painting the valley in soft silver light, Aaron realized something profound. Humanity had traveled far, not just to explore or conquer, but to connect. And that connection, the ability to touch hearts, to inspire trust, to teach and learn, was perhaps the most valuable technology they carried. Lyria looked at him, smiling softly. "I will remember this, sweetheart," she said. Aaron nodded, a quiet pride swelling in his chest. He knew this was only the beginning. Yalara 7, its people, and the bond he had begun with Lyria promised adventures, discoveries, and challenges unlike any other. But for the first time, he felt certain. Humanity's greatest strength was not just its machines or weapons, but its heart. And in that quiet valley, under alien stars, the first bridge between humans and Lyrans had been built, one small word at a time. Days passed on Yalara 7, and the bond between humans and Lyria grew stronger. Aaron found himself increasingly amazed by her curiosity and determination to understand human behavior. Every gesture, every word, every laugh seemed to teach her something new. She copied their mannerisms, tested their expressions, and sometimes even corrected them with innocent precision. It was humbling for the crew to realize that they were not just explorers, but teachers in a world that had never known humans. Aaron led his small team deeper into the northern valley, accompanied by Lyria and a few of her people. The valley was alive with colors and sounds the humans had never imagined. Strange plants shifted slightly when touched by sunlight, and luminous insects floated like tiny stars around the crystal lakes. The air was thick with the scent of exotic flowers, yet somehow refreshing, giving each breath a sense of clarity. Lyria stopped at a flowering bush and gestured toward it. "On my world, this is a rare plant. It responds to emotions. Joy strengthens it, sadness dims it." She touched the petals lightly, and the plant pulsed softly with golden light. "Humans feel emotions deeply. Can it affect the plant too?" "Say something that makes you happy. Not the sound itself, but the feeling you put into it." Sometimes the experiment went wrong. A burst of excitement caused flowers to twist too fast or leaves to fold sharply. But the humans and Lyrans learned together. It was a lesson in patience, connection, and trust. One evening, as they rested near a crystal waterfall, Lyria asked a question that surprised Aaron. "Captain, why do humans show kindness to strangers?" "It seems inefficient. Emotions are unpredictable. Humans use them as strength. That is remarkable." Marcus instinctively reached for his blaster, but Aaron held up a hand. "Wait, let's observe first," he said. "If we act aggressive, we might provoke it." It sniffed her hand, then Aaron's, and finally bounded away, leaving a trail of faint light in the air. Rena laughed quietly. It responded to kindness just like the plants. She learned to laugh, to nod in agreement, to make eye contact in ways that conveyed trust. Sometimes she would call Aaron sweetheart playfully, echoing their first meeting, and he found himself smiling at the familiarity. Each repetition strengthened their bond, bridging cultural gaps and showing her people that humans were not just alien strangers, they were allies. One morning, Lyria guided the humans to a hidden grove. The grove was filled with enormous crystalline trees, their branches extending like silver veins into the sky. It was breathtaking, but more than that, it was sacred to her people. "This is where we store our knowledge," Lyria explained. "The crystals record memories, thoughts, and discoveries. Only those we trust may enter." Lights swirled, revealing faint images of scientific experiments, cultural ceremonies, and records of Yalara 7 history. The humans marveled at the complexity and precision. Aaron realized that despite their technological advancement, Lyria's people lacked something humans had in abundance: a willingness to take emotional risks, to connect with others openly. "I think that is our advantage," Aaron whispered to Rena. "We can combine knowledge with connection. That is how we make allies and sometimes even win battles without violence." Lyria's eyes widened. "A disturbance in the east," she said. "It is minor, but the creatures there are agitated." Lyria's people had weapons, but they were untested against creatures of this size. Aaron considered his options. He could order a retreat, or he could try something else. He remembered the lesson of the plants and the small creatures. Sometimes aggression is not the answer, he said. We can show restraint and observation first. Trust can be stronger than fear. Their glowing eyes studied the humans and Lyrans, then the leader, a massive creature with 4 limbs and a translucent crest, tilted its head. Slowly it stepped back, signaling the others to do the same. Aaron exhaled in relief. "See," he said quietly. "Sometimes kindness is stronger than force. You teach not only with words but with actions. That is inspiring. Your emotions, your humor, your courage, all of it. Not just observe. And that, Lyria, is the beginning of why humans are special." And she learned courage by observing how they faced threats with patience, strategy, and empathy. One afternoon, while examining a cliffside full of strange, glowing crystals, Lyria tripped slightly. Before she could fall, Aaron caught her by the arm. "You're safe," he said, steadying her. Her eyes met his, and for a moment the weight of the universe seemed to shrink. "Sweetheart," she whispered almost instinctively. Aaron smiled softly, feeling the same warmth as that first day. "Sweetheart," he said in return, a simple word bridging species and worlds. Her cheeks shimmered faintly, and she laughed, the sound light and musical. "Say it again," she said, echoing their first meeting, but now with understanding and trust behind it. Aaron laughed, leaning back slightly. "Sweetheart," he said once more, letting the word carry everything they had learned together. The bond between humans and Lyria was no longer just curiosity. It was friendship, trust, and mutual respect. And Aaron knew that this foundation would be vital for the challenges yet to come. For on Yalara 7, as beautiful as it was, dangers lurked in the shadows, and the next test of humanity's heart and ingenuity was only beginning. But for now, the valley was calm, the stars of the twin moons reflected in the crystal rivers, and a human word, simple, warm, and full of meaning, had bridged 2 worlds. Aaron watched Lyria, smiling softly. He realized that in a universe of unknowns, the most powerful tool humans possessed was not their technology, not even their weapons. It was their ability to connect, to teach, to care, and to inspire trust. And that, he thought, as Lyria repeated the word with a shy grin, was worth traveling across the stars. The calm of Yalara 7 did not last. A few days after their peaceful lessons in the northern valley, the sensors on the Aurora began to register unusual activity near the eastern ridge. The readings were erratic, massive movements that did not match any known patterns of local wildlife. Aaron and his crew watched the flickering monitor screens, tension building in the bridge. "Captain," Rena said, pointing at the scans, "these are too coordinated to be normal animals. They're moving as if they have a plan, and there's a lot of them." Lyria's eyes widened as she saw the readings. "This is troubling," she said softly. "These creatures have never acted in such a large group before. It is aggressive behavior." Below, dozens of massive, 4-legged predators moved like shadows among the rocks. Their glowing eyes reflected the twin suns, and their muscles rippled with tension. These were not normal creatures. They were hunting together, coordinated and intelligent, as if led by a single purpose. Marcus tightened his grip on his blaster. "Captain, we can take them out easily with our weapons. But if we do that, we risk hurting the ecosystem, and your people may not trust us afterward." "I like it. Trust and strength at the same time." Slowly they began to retreat, as if respecting the humans' and Lyrans' combined presence. Aaron exhaled. "That's it. Observation, communication, and calm, that's the strength humans bring. It's humans in general. We survive by connecting, by thinking, by caring. Those are the tools that matter most." The phrase had become a bridge between them, a shared secret of trust and friendship. Aaron chuckled. "Sweetheart," he said, and they both laughed quietly. The next morning, while studying a crystal cavern near the waterfall, another disturbance shook the valley. This time it was more serious. A fleet of small, aggressive creatures, fast, winged, and with sharp talons, descended toward Lyria's village. The humans and Lyrans had little time to react. Aaron immediately organized a defensive formation. "We won't attack unless we have to. Our priority is to protect the villagers and guide the creatures away." "Lead us." The winged predators swooped and dove, but the humans' timing and strategy outmaneuvered them. Lyria watched in awe as humans made split-second decisions, protecting their allies without unnecessary violence. When one of the creatures managed to breach the barrier, it lunged toward a young Lyran child. Without hesitation, Aaron leapt forward, grabbing the creature and redirecting it safely away. Lyria's eyes widened in astonishment. You risk yourself for others, she asked. Aaron smiled, adrenaline still pumping. Always, that's how humans survive, by protecting each other and inspiring trust. I have never seen such courage combined with understanding. The twin moons rose slowly, casting silver light across the land. You have taught me much, Lyria said quietly. About humans, about emotion, about courage. I want to learn more, and about this word you keep using. She tilted her head. Sweetheart. It's simple but powerful. Sweetheart, she said, and the sound was different from the first time. It was confident, sincere, and full of understanding. Aaron felt a warmth he could not explain. Sweetheart, he replied, matching her tone. The bond between them had grown stronger through the challenges, and now the word symbolized not just curiosity, but trust, respect, and friendship that spanned worlds. Over the following days, Aaron's team worked with Lyria and her people to improve defenses around the valley. They shared tactics, technology, and strategy, but more importantly, they shared understanding. The Lyrans observed how humans worked together, learned to communicate quickly and clearly, and began to adopt human practices of empathy and foresight. Aaron watched Lyria practice giving instructions to the villagers in her new style. She smiled when the humans acknowledged her leadership. You are teaching me how to lead, she said softly. And you are teaching us, Aaron replied. Not everything is about tactics. Leadership is about trust and connection. You are proving that. Understanding and respecting culture is as important as defending lives. That is what makes humans powerful, not just strength, but awareness. That night, sitting near the waterfall, Aaron and Lyria reflected on the events of the past days. The threats, the victories, and the lessons had forged something stronger than friendship. They had built trust, respect, and mutual understanding that could survive even the unknown dangers of the universe. Captain, Lyria said softly, her voice almost musical, do you think your species always survives because of its cleverness or because of its heart? Then I see now. Your word, your actions, they are more than gestures. They are bridges between worlds. Sweetheart, she said softly, and this time it was not just a word. It was an acknowledgement of everything they had endured together, a bond that would grow stronger with each shared experience. Aaron's heart swelled. Sweetheart, he said in return, knowing that this simple exchange symbolized more than words. It was proof that humanity's strength lay not just in technology or courage, but in the ability to connect, to teach, and to inspire trust, even in the farthest reaches of the galaxy. As the night deepened and the twin moons reflected in the crystal-clear rivers, Aaron knew that challenges lay ahead. Bigger, stranger, more dangerous than anything they had faced so far. But for the first time, he felt confident that humans, with their heart, mind, and courage, could face anything, and that together with Lyria and her people, they could survive and even thrive. The predators of the valley had tested them, but humans had taught the Lyrans, and themselves, a lesson that no weapon, no technology, no strategy could fully replace, the power of understanding, empathy, and connection. And as Lyria leaned against him and whispered, Sweetheart, again, he knew that the future, however uncertain, was brighter because humanity carried not just strength, but heart. The days following the predator attacks were tense. The humans and Lyrans worked tirelessly, reinforcing defenses, training the villagers, and studying the ecosystem of the valley. Aaron watched Lyria grow more confident each day. She had begun to lead her people with a mix of her natural intelligence and the human strategies they had shared. She smiled more, laughed more, and often repeated the word they had both come to cherish, sweetheart. Early one morning, the scanners on the Aurora detected movement far beyond the ridge. It was a fleet of massive, predatory creatures, far larger and more coordinated than any humans had seen before. Their wings glinted in the twin suns, and their glowing eyes burned with intelligence. Aaron felt a familiar thrill of tension. This was no ordinary attack. This was a test of everything they had learned, the humans' ingenuity, their emotional intelligence, and the trust they had built with the Lyrans. Captain, these are not random predators, Rena said. They are organized, possibly a higher species, or at least a highly intelligent collective. Lyria, can your people help coordinate the valley? Sensors detected the approach of the massive predators, and the villagers had been trained to retreat and guide them safely. Aaron's heart swelled with pride. Humans had not only taught them, but inspired them to act. When the first wave arrived, it was more terrifying than they imagined. The predators swooped down, wings whipping the air, claws ready to strike. But the valley was ready. Humans and Lyrans moved as one, creating diversions, guiding the creatures into traps, and using barriers to slow their approach. Aaron coordinated with calm precision, directing humans and Lyrans alike. Marcus, cover the western ridge. Rena, reinforce the crystal barrier near the river. Lyria, lead the villagers to higher ground. They must stay safe. She mimicked human gestures, raised her voice to give commands, and moved with grace and confidence. The villagers followed her without hesitation, inspired by the combined leadership of humans and their own kind. At one point, a massive predator broke through the eastern barrier and charged toward a group of villagers. Aaron acted instinctively, sprinting forward to intercept it. With a careful mix of movement and energy manipulation, he redirected the creature, forcing it back toward a trap set earlier. Lyria's eyes widened. "Captain, you risk yourself every time. Why?" "Weapons are tools, but courage and care are power." Aaron gathered his team and Lyria near the crystalline waterfall. The twin moons reflected off the water, painting silver paths across the valley. "You are remarkable," Lyria said softly. "Not because of your strength or weapons, but because of your mind and heart. You have taught us how to combine our abilities with trust and courage." "No, we've taught each other. Humans have ideas, yes, but we needed your knowledge of the land, your people, your instincts. Together, we are stronger. That is more powerful than anything we could do alone." Aaron noticed subtle changes in Lyria. She had begun to laugh more freely, to speak more casually, and to use human expressions naturally. "Sweetheart," she said one afternoon, teasingly, as Aaron helped her adjust a crystal sensor. Aaron grinned, feeling the warmth of familiarity. "Sweetheart," he replied, the word now carrying shared memories, trust, and a deep bond. One evening, they decided to explore a hidden canyon that Lyria had discovered. The walls of the canyon were covered in crystals that reflected light in a dazzling spectrum. As they walked, Aaron realized that this place was more than just beautiful. It was a living record of the planet, holding memories of generations. "Captain," Lyria said, looking at him, "these crystals, they can store thought, memory, emotion. Humans could learn much from them." Rocks shifted, and from the shadows emerged a creature unlike any they had faced before. It was massive, its body armored with crystalline scales, and its eyes glowed with intelligence and cunning. Lyria gasped. "It is the guardian of the canyon. It protects this place fiercely." Humans survive by understanding, not just force. Finally, the guardian stepped back, acknowledging their presence. Lyria's eyes shone with amazement. "Captain, you teach not just with strength, but with heart. I understand now why humans survive even when faced with the unknown. Never underestimate them. And you, Captain, have shown me the meaning of connection and care. I understand now your word, your gesture. It is more than just a sound. It is trust." It was no longer a playful curiosity. It was a symbol of partnership, trust, and shared experience. For both of them, the word had grown to represent the bond between humans and Lyrans, a reminder that connection and empathy were the strongest forces in the universe. Over the next week, the humans and Lyrans strengthened the valley's defenses and prepared for the possibility of further attacks. But the mood was lighter now. The shared victories, the lessons learned, and the bonds formed had created a sense of unity and hope. Aaron observed the villagers, the scientists, and Lyria working together, laughing, learning, and planning. He realized that humanity's strength was not just in technology or courage. It was in the ability to inspire others, to teach, and to connect across differences. Lyria approached him one evening as the twin moons rose. "Captain," she said softly, "I feel changed. I understand humans now, not just their actions, but their heart. You have taught me how to lead with courage and kindness. You and your people, you are extraordinary. It is recognition of what you represent, hope, connection, and strength." As they stood together beneath the twin moons, Aaron realized that humanity's true power lay not in weapons or technology, but in the ability to connect, to teach, to inspire, and to care. And with Lyria and her people as allies, he knew that whatever challenges awaited them on Yalara 7 or beyond, humans would face them with courage, heart, and unity. The valley was safe for now. The predators had been repelled, and the bonds forged between humans and Lyrans had become unbreakable. And in the quiet of the crystalline canyon, with moonlight dancing across the water and Lyria smiling beside him, Aaron knew that the greatest victories were not always battles. They were connections, trust, and the courage to reach out to another being, across worlds and differences, and say a single word. The twin moons cast silver light over crystalline rivers, and the twin suns had long since set, leaving stars like scattered diamonds across the sky. The humans and Lyrans had spent weeks preparing for further threats, strengthening defenses, teaching, and learning. Yet even in calm, there was tension, a sense that something larger, more dangerous, might emerge beyond the mountains. Aaron Halstead stood at the edge of a cliff overlooking the valley. Lyria was beside him, her eyes reflecting the shimmering crystal forests below. "Do you think the predators will return?" she asked softly. Aaron shook his head. "I don't know, but we're ready, and even if they do, we've proven that humans and Lyrans together can handle it. You have taught us patience, courage, and trust, but more importantly, you have taught us the value of connection. That is something no predator, no threat can take away." Then a low rumble echoed from the eastern ridge. The humans and Lyrans turned their attention toward the mountains. A massive shadow moved across the rocks, larger than any predator they had faced, faster and seemingly intelligent. This was no ordinary attack. It was a test of everything they had learned together. Aaron raised his hand. "Stay calm. We've trained for this. We will face it as we have before, with strategy, courage, and heart." The humans and Lyrans mirrored him, forming a protective yet non-threatening line. Aaron spoke, his voice clear and steady. "We are not your enemies. Observe us. You will see we mean no harm, but we can defend our home if needed." But every move, every decision, every calm gesture from Aaron and Lyria's people demonstrated unity. Lyria raised her voice, giving clear commands to her people and the villagers, coordinating movement with precision. "Form the barriers here, redirect the small predators there, protect the village." Each time a smaller predator approached, he used patience and clever positioning to deflect it, avoiding direct violence. The larger creature observed, seemingly impressed by the combination of intelligence, courage, and coordination. Hours passed, and slowly the tide turned. The predators realized that the humans and Lyrans were not easy targets. Every attempt at aggression was met with clever resistance, empathy, and strategic redirection. It was not brute force that repelled them, but understanding, connection, and courage, the very qualities that Aaron had been teaching Lyria since the first day. Finally, the massive creature let out a low, reverent sound and retreated, signaling the smaller predators to follow. The valley fell silent. Humans and Lyrans alike exhaled in relief. Lyria turned to Aaron, her eyes wide with admiration. "Captain, you have done what I thought impossible. You faced them, not with weapons, but with heart, courage, and intelligence. That is what makes the difference." Aaron noticed the way Lyria moved now, confident, playful, and deeply connected with both her people and the humans. She had fully embraced the lessons of trust, courage, and connection, and in return had taught the humans about subtlety, observation, and the delicate balance of life on Yalara 7. One evening, as the twin moons rose once more, Aaron and Lyria walked along the crystal river. Their footsteps made soft echoes against the reflective stones. "I never thought I would see a creature like that retreat because of understanding," Lyria said, her voice filled with awe. Aaron chuckled softly. "It's not just understanding, it's connection. Courage and care, combined with knowledge and respect, can create something stronger than fear. And humans, they have heart. That is what I see now. Strength alone is not enough. It is the combination of mind, courage, and heart that creates true power. And that word, the one you first said to me, it has meaning now. Not just curiosity, but trust and partnership." "Sweetheart." Aaron and Lyria established a research and communication station, blending technology from both species. Humans shared their knowledge of engineering, space travel, and strategy, while Lyrans contributed their understanding of biology, crystals, and the subtle energies of the planet. Aaron watched the collaboration and felt proud, not of himself, but of humanity. Their heart, courage, and willingness to connect had inspired an entire species. Lyria's people had embraced not only human intelligence but human compassion, and in doing so had created a lasting alliance. One afternoon, Aaron stood on a ridge overlooking the valley. Lyria joined him, her eyes reflecting both the twin suns and the deep blue of Earth in her mind. "Do you think humans can survive anywhere?" she asked. Aaron smiled. "Yes, not just because of our technology, but because of our heart. We connect, we trust, and we care. Those qualities allow us to survive and thrive no matter where we go. And in return, you have learned things you may never have imagined." Of course. It represented the trials, the lessons, the laughter, and the courage that had brought two species together. It was a word that bridged worlds and built trust stronger than any weapon or technology. As night fell over the valley, humans and Lyrans alike celebrated quietly, knowing that they had accomplished something extraordinary. The predators had been repelled, the village had been protected, and a bond had been forged that could withstand any challenge. Aaron looked at Lyria, then at the twin moons above. "We've come a long way," he said softly, "and this is only the beginning. Humanity has much to offer the galaxy: hope, courage, and connection. That is our strength. And I will help you share that strength. Together, humans and Lyrans can face anything." The valley of Yalara 7 glowed softly under the twin moons, peaceful and alive. Somewhere in the distance, creatures stirred, mountains shifted, and the wind carried the scent of the crystal forests. And in the heart of it all, two species stood together, united by trust, friendship, and a single, simple word. "Sweetheart," Aaron said, quietly, as if to seal the bond for all time. "Sweetheart," Lyria replied, her voice steady and warm. And in that moment, humanity had proven its greatest strength. Not weapons, not machines, not strategy alone, but the courage to care, the wisdom to connect, and the heart to inspire trust, even across worlds. As the stars shimmered above, Aaron knew the journey was far from over. But with allies like Lyria and her people, he was certain humanity could face anything the universe would throw at them. Together, they would explore, learn, protect,